Hello, my name is Özkan Karabulut. I am a PhD candidate in the History and Middle Eastern Studies program at Harvard University, where I specialize in early modern Ottoman social and cultural history. Before starting my PhD at Harvard, I hold my undergraduate degree in history from the Middle East Technical University and my master's degree in history from Sabancı University. I am very excited to join the ANAMED's cohort this year as a PhD fellow. At ANAMED, I will be working on my dissertation project, which is tentatively titled From Orality to Literacy, Scripturalization of the Alevi Religious Knowledge, 1736 and 1826. My project focuses on the reading and writing practices of the Kızılbaş Alevi and Bektashi communities in Anatolia in the 18th and 19th centuries. For Anatolian Alevis, the second largest religious community in Turkey, mystical poetry has been the most effective medium for transmitting religious knowledge since the emergence of the Kızılbaş Alevi confession at the beginning of the 16th century. Starting from the 16th century, but mainly in the 18th and 19th centuries, Kızılbaş Alevi poetry underwent a major transformation. People started to write it down in the special form of oblong codices known as junk. Through an analysis of junk manuscripts, I examined the scripturalization of Alevi religious knowledge and how it shaped the community's collective memory. In my project, I seek to answer to what extent the writing of poetry standardized or routinized the Alevi religious knowledge and liturgical practices, and how the wider dynamics of Ottoman literacy in the 18th and 19th centuries affected Alevi reading and writing practices. I argue that the scripturalization of Alevi mystical poetry gained momentum with the dissolution of the Safavid Empire and resulted in a liturgical canonization. Development of a partially free sphere for the Kızılbaş Alevi communities increased their integration into Ottoman socio-economic life and engagement with the literate culture. My research also suggests a considerable influence of the literacy-oriented and institutionalized Bektashi Sufi order on the scripturalization process and the broader Kızılbaş Alevi communities during this period. By focusing on the period between the demise of Safavids in 1736 and the evolution of the Bektashi Sufi order in 1826, when the dozens of Bektashi lodges were demolished and their properties and libraries were confiscated, I aim to present a trans-regional history of Alevi religiosity within the context of the social, political, and economic transformations of the 18th century. The main source base for my study is Alevi mystical poetry, which is recorded in the joint manuscripts and appended at the back pages of Buyruk manuscripts, which contains an authoritative account of basic Kızılbaş Alevi beliefs and rituals. Examination of sources from different regions in Anatolia enables a comparative analysis of modes of transmission of Alevi religious knowledge. I also draw on the anthropological concept of secondary orality coined by Walter Ong to describe the interplay between oral and written culture. I use this to understand how writing as a new mode of ritual communication created new ways of thinking and generated a strong group sense. Studying the writing practices of Kızılbaş Alevis will also contribute to a better historical understanding of Alevi collective memory. At the micro level, junk manuscripts as private notebooks portray subjective selections and poetic worlds of their authors. At the macro level, they collectively form the corpus of Alevi mystical poetry, which draws upon a shared cultural repertoire, liturgical language, and semantic world. I have begun my research last year by examining junk manuscripts of National Library in Ankara and local manuscript libraries in Anatolia. During my fellowship term at ANAMED, I will be primarily studying junk manuscripts kept in various manuscript libraries in Istanbul and Anatolia. Simultaneously, I will be reading 18th century chronicles and Ottoman archival documents to survey the Ottomans' Kızılbaş Alevi policy.